The following is a live sports event featuring the Abernathy Antelopes or Lady Lopes and is under the direction of AA Sports Properties in partnership with Abernathy ISD. This broadcast cannot be reproduced or retransmitted without the written consent of AA Sports Properties. Tonight's broadcast is made possible by the support of our generous sponsors: MC Master Roofing and Construction, South Plains Auto Ranch, First State Bank, Nutrient Ag Solutions, Abernathy First Baptist Church, Storm Guard, Clark Riley Insurance, Able Funeral Home and Flower Shop, Plains Land Bank, JC Refrigeration, Spradlin Spray Service, Vista Bank, Lambert Insurance, The Junkin Farmers Market, Ty Horsford Realtor, and DB Media. Buckle up and enjoy all of the exciting action with the Abernathy Antelopes and Lady Lopes.
Rolando. This time he takes it himself, untouched, into the end zone. Rolando Martinez from 1 yard out, and the Abernathy Antelope strike first. Comes from Kalen Marshall off the dribble. Mid-range jumper. Marshall gives Abernathy the lead. Now he hands it to Rolando. Burst of speed up the middle. Dagger! Touchdown! Superman! Now, second, stolen away in the corner. Flores. It's good! Flores the steal! It's a three-pointer as time runs out. Flag comes in. The punt is blocked. And it's going to be an Antelope touchdown. Barring the penalty. This is Cash Garcia who blocked it, scooped it, and scored it. And once again, good evening, Abernathy, Texas, and good evening, fans of the Abernathy Antelopes and Lady Lopes. It's Wednesday night. It's 8:30. You know what that means is we are outside the box.
To the Antelopes, Ty Horsford, alongside my good buddy, old pal, Chance Rocha. And we're here for another exciting Wednesday night as we get to talk all things Abernathy. And Chance, jumping right in, for the first time really in several weeks, we don't have a close ball game to talk about this past Friday night as Abernathy goes on the road to New Deal and just flat out takes care of business as they put a whooping on those Lions 38-0. And to be honest with you, Chance, it was a game that really wasn't even that close.
No, it wasn't that close. I mean, you lead 20-0 after the first 12 minutes and you're leading 32-0 at halftime, and the score probably would have been a lot more lopsided, but I think we had the ball for 4 minutes the entire second half.
Yep.
Their quarterback, Dallas Sumner, ends up not playing the whole second half. Hopefully he can get back healthy, but he was on crutches that second half. But they just ran the ball. So when you run the ball, and they really didn't put any points, it was just kind of like
they never really even threatened.
No, they didn't. I mean, I think the closest they got was maybe, just inside the 30. But they got there, and then it just kind of stalled out from there. But ate up most of the clock. They let a little bit of the clock run, which is fine. But our only possession, we got the ball, we ended up scoring. So, but yeah, it was really kind of over from the start. You kick off, return it for a touchdown. They fumble the next kickoff. You score a couple of plays later, and that was kind of all she wrote. Love the fact that, we got the shutout, which is what I called. That's kind of what I wanted, a signature win, and the Lopes got it on Friday. And I think also it was good for them to feel that momentum and feel like we are the class that everyone needs to be looking out for. I kind of felt some of that. We played with a lot of energy and a lot of passion for sure on Friday.
Yeah, no doubt. 345 to 128 total offense. You dominate on the scoreboard and the stat sheet. And Chance, you had over 200 yards more of total offense than they did, and you ran 7 fewer offensive plays on the night than the Lions. Just 23 passing yards. Your defense was great. And like you said, you did everything you needed to do. Everything we talked about
you needed to do going in there to be successful, you did. As you started fast, you didn't let them have any momentum. You were well balanced on offense. You won the battle at the line of scrimmage, and you didn't beat yourself. You didn't turn the ball over. You forced 2 turnovers, but didn't turn the ball over. It's a recipe for success every single time.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the only thing we didn't have this week was, those touchdown passes from Jagger. But that's okay. He protected the ball, no interceptions. Second straight week of that, high completion percentage. And we really didn't have to throw the ball.
Right.
They were giving us to the run. We kind of dominated that line of scrimmage. Malachi and Rolando both had big games. They both had 8 carries, one for 80 yards and one for 63 yards, and then 2 touchdowns. Had the unfortunate matter. Malachi gets hurt way late in the ball game, but those kind of things are going to happen. And we didn't think it was as bad, but I think it may be kind of tough, and his season may be done. We don't know 100%, but it sounds like it's probably going to be one of those things that he may not be with the team on the field. He'll be there in support, but we do have some guys coming back. I think Caleb Brown's going to be coming back this next week, hopefully. And so that you're losing a guy, but we talked about it even on the broadcast. It's kind of next man up. Those are the things that you have to deal with, especially at a small school where your skill position guys, you don't have a ton of them. So some of those other guys are going to have to step up. And so, tough break for Malachi. He's been really big for us on defense. And so it just hurts losing that kind of thing. So.
And also heard today from his mom, so I feel like that's a pretty good source. But Big Joe, number 70, is supposed to be back in the lineup.
There you go.
This weekend as well.
That'll give us some depth on the O-line and on the D-line.
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. Aaron Russum, also a big game. We highlighted him in the pregame of the broadcast, Chance, and he showed up and did well. 60 rushing yards, a touchdown, also received 23 yards. So a strong game from him. And then you've got to talk about the defense. When you hold a team to 128 yards of total offense, when you pitch the shutout, the staple on that defense, like it is so often, Carson Curry, he just gets the job done. He leads the team in tackles with 10. Just a strong defensive effort all the way around. Big guys up front dominate the line of scrimmage. Chance, if you nitpick, the one thing that you really have to figure out, and we've talked about this because this is becoming a problem, is that extra point situation. Whether it's a PAT kick or a 2-point conversion, you're not converting those at a very high level.
Yeah, and it may not seem like a big deal when you're winning 38-0, but when you get deeper, maybe against post or in the playoffs, you're going to meet teams that have a kicker. They could probably kick field goals, and that extra point is almost a guarantee. And if you don't have that in your arsenal, that's something that can hurt you down the road. That's where you end up losing games by 1 point. It just kind of goes to show you. Go back to the game against Farwell. You win 42-41 because we did not miss a single extra point. Maverick was on point that game. He made the extra point to give us the lead. It was tied 41-41, and he makes that extra point to give us the 42-41 win. And so I know he's been struggling with some injuries, and I know that's something the coaching staff is trying to figure out, and I think that's something they're hoping to have locked in over the next couple of weeks for sure up against post. But that's something that if we have to start doing those 2-point conversions, we're going to have something that's almost a guarantee, so that way you don't run into those issues later on in the season for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Chance, when you kind of look at how the district is shaking out, it's starting to take a little bit of shape. We knew it would, kind of almost at the midway point of district play. You've still got the class of the district, the Post Bold Gold Antelopes, unblemished, still at 7-0, 2-0 in district. They put it on Olton 48-6 on Friday night. You've got Abernathy with their 5 straight wins at 5-2. They're also 2-0. So Abernathy and Post
tied at the top,
battling it at the top of the district. We kind of thought that might be the case. You've got Olton, who in my mind, Chance, for the most part, has played maybe better than I expected.
Yeah.
They're 4-3 overall, 1-1 in district play. They did lose to Post, as we mentioned, 48-6. That game was close for a while early, and then Post kind of pulled away in that one. So you've got Olton and New Home kind of tied for that 3rd and 4th spot, and that's going to be a big game when they go head-to-head here in a couple of weeks. But New Home 3-4, also 1-1. They put it on Floydada 40-7, and then you just have New Deal and Floydada. They're kind of the two really struggling in district play. New Deal at 3-4, 0-2. Floydada at 2-5, 0-2, and so. That's kind of how it looks right now. Post and Abernathy at the top, Olton and New Deal in the middle. Olton and New Home in the middle,
and then New Deal and Floydada kind of rounding out the district.
Yeah, for sure. And I think one of the things, New Home getting that win against Floydada, we know Floydada is struggling, but a win can kind of vault you moving forward. And that kind of takes us into the district preview of this coming week and kind of some insights of, some tie and chanceism, some things that we think may happen this week. Post, this is going to be really, I feel like personally, they've played some teams, but I think this is going to be Post first real test. New Home's a good team. We did win. We won a back and forth battle. He had to have that 95-yard drive to win. But they have their quarterback is great. If their O-line can protect and if they can get some run game to go with their passing game, they can be dangerous. And so Post,
and it's in New Home.
Yeah, and Post goes to New Home this week. They had a dominating performance over Olton, but I'm telling you, I kind of have some New Home cooking with those Cook brothers or cousins or whatever they are. I think there's going to be an upset. And that would definitely help us out in the district race. But I just feel like New Home's kind of gaining some momentum and has that winning taste. And I think they're going to kind of pull an upset on Post 24-20 this coming week, Ty.
You heard it here first. If New Home rolls the dice and gets the W, I also think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a tight ball game. I think if New Home can keep it close and give themselves a chance in the second half, maybe get a few breaks that you sometimes get on your home turf, they do have a chance. I do have the bold gold, though, staying unbeaten.
Come on, Tom.
And I've got them getting a 27-20 win over the New Home Leopards on Friday night. I think Dave Campbell's, I saw today, has that spread at 8 points in Post's favor. So should be a good ball game. And then, Chance, looking at Olton and New Deal, it's pretty much desperation time for the New Deal Lions as they go to Olton. And the way I see it, I've been pleasantly surprised by Olton, despite the blowout loss to Post. And I think New Deal is just dead in the water, and I don't mean that any other way than they're shorthanded, they're scrambling. I don't think they're going to figure it out in 1 week. And it's in Olton. I've got the Mustangs 35-13 over the Lions.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I think New Deal is searching for something, but it's hard to find that without consistent players, with some injuries, some things that they've kind of been struggling with. And I have Olton coming out on top, especially with them playing at home. I have them winning 34-14. But, if New Deal wants to have that push at 0-2, they're going to have to win 2 of their next 3 games to get in that 4th place spot. And Olton's one of those teams they're going to have to beat because they still have New Home on the schedule. And I don't know if they're going to be, even at full strength, I don't know if they'll be able to hang with the Leopards. But I have Olton winning as well, 34-14.
And we'll predict the Abernathy at Floydada matchup a little bit later. But again, the Antelopes looking to stay hot. They're looking for 6 in a row, Chance, and they're looking to stay unbeaten in district play on Friday night. Well, that brings us to our first break here on Outside the Box. When we come back, we'll take a look around AISD. We've got a couple of great interviews for you this week as well.
For sure.
We caught up with our admin team at the elementary, as well as Mr. Knight, our band director. So stick around. We've got a lot more coming on Outside the Box.
Clark Riley Insurance in Abernathy has been helping people with their property and farm insurance needs for many years. When it comes to insurance, you want to rest easy knowing you have a good rate with good coverage, and at Clark Riley Insurance, we can offer that peace of mind. We are proud to be locally owned and operated and offer a variety of insurance options to meet your needs. Give us a call today or visit us on the West Service Road in Abernathy. We are longtime supporters of the Antelopes and Lady Lopes.
Are you looking for a new ride? Look no further than the South Plains Auto Ranch in Abernathy. We offer in-house financing and offer a wide selection of used cars. If we don't have what you need, we will help you find it. When buying a vehicle, you want local people you can trust, and that's exactly what you'll find at the South Plains Auto Ranch in Abernathy. Located on the south end of town between the West Service Road and Avenue D, we are your used car one-stop shop. Give us a call today at 298-2200. And as always, we are a proud supporter of the Antelopes and Lady Lopes.
Yep. And welcome back to Outside the Box. Thanks for sticking with us here on this Wednesday night. We're going to have our look around AISD, and we're going to start it up. We're going to finish up football before we jump into everything else, Ty. Sub-varsity football report. Kind of a back and forth. 7th grade pulled up the big win, got another win in district, 16-8. Maddox Waldrop had a big game, accounted for 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing and 1 passing. They had a big, strong defensive performance for them as well. They had a fumble recovery kind of at the end of the game to kind of seal the deal for them. So big win for the 7th grade. 8th grade boys, hate it for you guys. Y'all had y'all's first loss ever as a group, and I know that was tough for y'all, and especially tough losing to New Deal. It's definitely not something I wanted to happen for y'all, but kind of talking about those extra points or those 2-point conversions.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's what kind of hurt them. They were 2 points behind. They score and aren't able to convert to get the tie, so they drop one, 34-32 that contest. But it was a great game. They scored late, like I said, back and forth game. Aiden Villarreal had a huge game, 3 touchdowns on the ground, 70 yards, 60 yards, and another 60-yarder as well. And then Cutter Johnson had 2 touchdowns, including a 78-yard pass to Isaac Loera. So it was a great game for them, but they just weren't able to come out on top. And it's one of those things where no one wants to be humbled, but sometimes when you're humbled, you learn some things from it. And so that 8th grade group is going to come back strong. I can guarantee you on that one. So, and then JV, they stayed on that winning train, put it on New Deal's JV, 32-10. That was a score at halftime, and they kind of rolled with it. Big performance by their defense. Colt Micheletti had 2 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns, and then Case Heinrich also had a big kickoff return for a touchdown. So just kind of want to give everybody a heads up. No 7th grade game this week. I don't know what's going on with Floydada, but there won't be a 7th grade game this week. 8th grade and JV both travel to Floydada tomorrow night, and they will start at 5 o'clock. Ty?
As we kind of give you an update on volleyball, they're really close to wrapping up their season, Chance, as you have both the JV and varsity squads going to post on Tuesday night, and they both come up on the short end of the stick. They will close out their regular season on Saturday against Tahoka. I believe that's about a noon match time in that one, and it is Abernathy's Wear Pink or Pink Out game, if you will, as they raise some money to support breast cancer awareness. And so go out and support the Lady Lopes. It's going to be your last opportunity to see them. 7th and 8th grade volleyball, they both won the battle for Antelope supremacy as they get the win on Monday night, and they have their final match of the season coming up on Monday, and they will also play the Tahoka Bulldogs. And so good luck to both our varsity JV and 7th and 8th grade teams as they take on Tahoka in the coming week, and we'll let you know next week how those last games of the season turn out. And Chance, it's almost round ball time.
It is.
As the Lady Lopes going to get started a little bit earlier than the Antelopes just due to football. That's always the case. But I know practices are underway. Those girls are in full throttle and getting ready for an exciting season. We're going to talk more in depth about them hopefully next week.
Yep.
But they've got a massive non-district slate.
Oh, yeah, they do. And they've played like a little showcase. They had some girls that went to that, and they performed pretty well in that against some good competition. They're led by the senior McKaylin, the Tulane, commit, and her dad there coaching. And so great squad, going to be well coached, and they're going to be hungry, and they're going to face, like you said, that tough non-district. They're playing the likes of Friendship, Coronado, Plainview, Estacado, Canyon Randall. So some big schools. As a 2A school, and you're playing, Friendship, scrimmaging them, that's a 6A. Coronado's 5A, and then you have Plainview, Estacado, and Canyon. Those are around, the 4A areas. But those are teams that are predominantly, especially your Canyons and your Friendships, those are good squads. Those are playoff teams that they're going to be facing in the non-district slate for sure.
It's funny. I was talking to my dad about that, and he goes, that's kind of how it was back in the 80s and 90s when our girls' basketball program was so strong.
Mm-hmm.
We would go and we would play the Plainviews and the Canyons and the Lubbock schools, and so kind of reverting back to that, they will definitely be prepared when district play rolls around. You mentioned it, Chance. They start their season with a scrimmage on Saturday as they will be at Friendship, and then November 2nd, I believe that's the following Saturday if I've got my dates correct.
Yes, sir.
They go to Coronado to open the season officially, and so looking for an exciting season from the Abernathy Lady Lopes. They start the season in the top 25 of the TABC rankings, and so we'll talk more about them next week. Cross country, Chance, a big week for them as they both the Lady Lope as a team
and then Noah Rigler and Henry Webb competing at the regional meet this last week at May Simmons, and we've got a state qualifier.
We do. Noah Rigler placed 16th with the time of 17:55, and he's going to advance to state. So congrats, Noah. Go represent Abernathy well. You did it at regionals, and go ahead and do it at state too. And the Lady Lopes, their season came to a finish as regional qualifiers, but they went out and competed against our region's actually really good in cross country.
Yep.
And so they competed well, but kind of came up short. And so congrats to Noah for being able to qualify for state. I bet that's a big deal for him as a senior.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Chance, I feel like we've got an action-packed show tonight, and we continue to roll on and switching gears, kind of getting away from sports a little bit. And I know this next interview was important to both you and I. We both have kiddos on our elementary school campus, and, man, they just do a great job there at the Abernathy Elementary School at AES. And this week we had a chance to catch up to principal, second-year principal, and second-year assistant principal, as you had Joanna Fullingham and Kaylee Sterner, and just a great team. And Chance, it's just they do a great job at the elementary school. And I think the biggest thing that if you take anything away from this conversation about elementary is these two ladies, and really our entire staff at the elementary, they put the well-being of the kids first.
Yeah, number one. They're a great team. You can tell that by just seeing them throughout the day, when we're up there volunteering for different things, just seeing them, how they work together, how they balance each other out, and then just what is most important to them. Kid-centered, and just all things that are what's going to be benefiting, our kids and the students there at AES. So don't want to spoil anything, but it's a great interview that we had with them, and it was fun to sit down with them this week, Ty.
Here is Joanna and Kaylee.
Well, good morning, Joanna and Kaylee. Thank you for taking some time with us this morning for Outside the Box. This is kind of why we started this show, to highlight things around AISD. And we kind of wanted to visit with y'all today to kind of see some of the exciting things that are happening around AISD and some things you are excited about to start the year.
Well, today's picture day, so that's always exciting. We have some great things going on here at AES. The first event coming up is our turkey trot, or our turkey run. And so we are gearing up for that. Miss Sterner and I will be dressed like turkeys, and the kiddos will be chasing us around. And it's just a fun event for our kids, our families, and it gives us time to be silly with all of them.
I think the thing I'm most excited about is all the new curriculum we're implementing here at AES. Last year, we implemented a new math curriculum, and it was a little hard at first. Our teachers, parents, even kids, they struggled. But year two, our teachers are saying our kids are applying what they learned, and we are implementing a new reading curriculum this year. And so I can't wait to see what year two of that reading curriculum brings. So we're seeing lots of good fruit from the instruction our teachers doing and the curriculum we've implemented.
Awesome. So this is year two for both of y'all in y'all's roles. Y'all have a sign right outside the door that says Dream Team. Mm-hmm. So kind of talk about how y'all work together and how y'all complement each other in y'all's roles.
So I've always thought that I was a pretty organized person until I met Miss Sterner, and Miss Sterner just definitely sees a need and fills a need. That is our huge motto here at AES. We see each other, and if we see something that needs to be done, we just do it. And so Kaylee has definitely just stepped up, and she has led our math curriculum. So year one, like she stated, was a little challenging for us, but she has planned it. She meets with teachers weekly. She definitely is a great curriculum specialist on our campus. And so we joke with each other sometimes. Working together is like a marriage. And so we talk things through, we help each other. I really feel like we try to make the best decision in the interest of kids first. Adults we can change, but we want to do definitely what's best for our students first. And I am just so blessed to get to have her by my side.
Well, so I'm going to echo. I feel blessed to have her as our campus leader. She leads by example. Like she said, see a need, fill a need. She lives that every day. You'll see her when we're short subs. She goes and subs in pre-K and in PE, and so she really leads by example. And so it makes what she does, we follow. And so our campus just works seamlessly because of her leadership. And so I do think we work well together. We see each other, and like I can just say, oh, okay, what do you need? And we do it. And she's the same way. We see each other, and so we see a need, fill a need. And that's really truly lived out every day with what we do.
Awesome. And that can kind of transition us to my next question. Everybody around the community, anyone we've talked to, has talked about how Abernathy is special. Kind of talk about how you feel like y'all's campus is special, and what y'all value most here at the elementary school.
It's a great question. So I've worked at 4 different school districts, and I tell everybody all the time, Abernathy is a special place. This is not like everywhere else. We are a family. I feel like our culture is positive. Our teachers want to do what's best for kids. I love that we're a small enough town that we still get to go to the pep rallies together. And I love that our cheerleaders greet, our volleyball players greet, our antelope buddies are so involved. This truly is a community. It's not just an elementary school. It's not just a middle school or a high school. And I feel like we all do life together. So we're small enough that we see each other at the grocery store, and we want the best for everyone. Kaylee can attest to that. She's coming from a larger school district. This is just a special place. And I'm excited that my girls are going to get to go through the system. And I've been here 14 years, and I just want to stay here. I've been under some great leadership here, started with Sean Bearden, Leila Taubert, Densey Chambers, and they all had great visions for our campus. And that is just something we want to continue. We want to continue to love on kids, and just support each other in all that we do.
So like Joanna said, I am in year 3. I was at Plainview for 12 years. And so coming from a large district to a small district, there are some significant differences. And so for me and my family, just the small town feel, everybody welcomes you. Like she said, it's a family. I feel like we really care. The staff cares about your kids. They care about my kids, and then even the parents and the students, they care. It's the people that make AES and even the whole district special. And so it's people.
Awesome. So I know this is something new, and this is going to be kind of a transition going into the spring. Can y'all kind of talk a little bit about planning for that new 4-day school week that we're going to have starting in the spring, and what the accelerated program looks like on that optional 5th day?
Yeah. So we have already started the planning. We started this summer as an admin team. And so currently right now we are getting the numbers. So we need parents to reply to the survey that was sent out so that we can plan for the adequate staff that needs to support students on those days. We are going to operate like a normal school day. We will still have breakfast and lunch every day. We will run school from 7:45 to 3:45. So if your student comes at 7:45, they do need to stay through the day. And we're going to have different activities. We are going to do some acceleration either through Zern or through iStation, but we're also going to have hands-on learning, some STEM things, if you will. And so we do have some outside agencies that may help support in that. We will have teachers from all of the district helping. It won't just be elementary staff. It will be middle school and high school teachers as well. So that will be a great way for them to get to meet our students and get to know them a little bit better. We're still kind of in the beginning stages. So we hope that we will have a more solid plan in November, where we will know how many staff we need, how many kiddos we need. And just, we're looking forward to the 4-day week and seeing how maybe that's going to just help our students' emotional well-being. We do work on that a lot here at AES, is our SEL, our social emotional. And so we feel like that's going to benefit our kiddos and our families to be able to spend more time with each other at home.
I think you hit the high points. Numbers will determine a lot of what we're going to be able to do, if kids are going to be grouped within other grade levels. So, like she said, parents get those surveys completed. I think they're due October 31st. Mm-hmm. And so you have a few more weeks to get those done. And then once we get those numbers, that's really going to help us solidify our plans.
So, well, I think that's all we have for y'all today. We really appreciate y'all taking the time with us here for Outside the Box. And we know our kids here at AES are well taken care of with the wonderful staff that we have here between Joanna and Kaylee.
Thank you. Go Lopes.
Well, good morning.
And welcome back to Outside the Box. So, Ty, I know I know us sitting down and visiting with them this week, the things that are important to them is not only taking care of the staff and supporting them, but like you said, the kids. And it was interesting to hear, it's just the people that everyone, always goes back to community. Everyone is in it for the right things and wants it for the right things. And just all the fun things that they do. They participate in everything, doing the turkey trot, dressing up as turkeys, for the kids to run. They take pictures with them, sitting on the roof like elves for Christmas, just that kind of fun stuff that they do. And being able to do that, but also, going in and doing what's good for the staff, what's good for the students, shifting to that 4-day week. And I know that's something that a lot of people are kind of back and forth about, but I think it's going to be good, for the teachers and for the kids. You get a little bit more family time. The teachers get a little bit more time spent with their family as well. And so, like they said in the video, get those surveys in. If you're going to do that optional Friday, alternative day that they're going to have, they're going to treat it like a school day, so they got to be dropped off in the morning. They get picked up at the end of the day. And they really do that for working parents and parents that do need that. And I just love the fact that, we are going to have the 4-day, but if parents still need that optional day, that they have that opportunity to be able to use that. And so they really encourage us to kind of tell everybody, hey, get those surveys in because that's important for sure.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, and we said it before the interview, above all else, these two ladies and really the whole staff at Abernathy, I truly feel like they love your kiddos like their own. Mm-hmm. They treat them like their own. And one thing that really stood out to me that Ms. Fullingham said was, when you're talking about change and things like the 4-day week, she said, us as adults, we can kind of deal with it. Mm-hmm. We can figure it out. We can be uncomfortable. We're going to do everything we can to be sure our students are comfortable.
For sure.
And kind of keep that routine. And they just do a great job. I love outside their door chants. Before we went into Miss Fillingham's office, there was a sign on the door, and I can't remember. It said Dream Team, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
I love that,
and there's nothing more fitting for these two. They truly are a dream team, and I know you and I both are super thankful for them.
For sure.
Especially with kiddos at that campus. I couldn't be more comfortable sending my kids to Abernathy Elementary every day.
Yeah, for sure. And they really do, not only support them, but they lead by example. Just a small snippet, like they were short some subs, something happened, and Joanna was having to help in pre-K the other day, and so it was just funny that Hannah mentioned that. She was like, it's just funny that she's there. She's doing it where she needs to be when she's needed. And so just those kind of things that they do. And so great conversation we had with them, and it kind of leads us into our next conversation. Another great guy, great staff, the Abernathy Band, Ty.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you have been to Abernathy football games, if you've been to Christmas parades, if you've been to all sorts of community things, all school reunions, the band is always there.
Yeah.
And the band is always performing, and you know how good of a job they do. They competed this last Saturday at their regional marching contest, the Class 2A regional marching contest at Lowry Field in Lubbock. They received straight ones across the board. And for the 18th straight year chance, they advanced to the area competition, which will be November the 2nd in Abilene. And if they can somehow finish in the top 4 out of over 20 bands at that competition, they've got an opportunity to go to state for the first time since 2005.
Yeah, I know they're excited about that. And we were able to sit down and visit with Mr. Knight, and don't want to spoil anything, but he definitely had a lot to say and a lot of years' experience there leading the Abernathy band.
And you're going to see all those trophies in the background, too.
There you go.
Well, here we are, another episode of Outside the Box, and today we're joined by Mr. Knight. He is our band director here at Abernathy. And Mr. Knight, thanks so much for taking a few minutes to visit with us about band and all the exciting things currently going on in band. Obviously, you've had lots of success through the years here at Abernathy. We were talking off air, 32 years here at Abernathy as the band director. You've seen a lot, you've done a lot, you've accomplished a lot. Can you just talk a little bit about what it means to lead this program and the tradition that you've kind of helped create here?
It's truly an honor. It's more kind of like being a caretaker, I guess. I'm the seventh band director since 1952, and so that's pretty humbling from that standpoint. I'm blessed with a great group of teachers to work with, and it all starts with Anna Jo Knight in the elementary program. She does a tremendous job there. And then I've got another lady that I work with, Trisha Burrell, who's our middle school director, and then helps me with high school. And so does Anna Jo Knight. And she is the most gifted middle school teacher I've ever seen. She just does amazing things with those kids. And then we've got one other lady that's with us this year. She's a TA with us and pursuing her music ed degree, Toby Riley. And so with that staff, we're able to do lots of neat things. It's very much a family atmosphere. We have a lot of fun. We work hard and get to do lots of neat things.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about this year's high school band. Obviously, you're knee-deep into the marching season. You've got a lot still yet to go this year. But so far, what are you most proud of when it comes to this group?
This group is they're very young. It's a very young group this year, and they've worked really hard, and they've jumped at every challenge we've had. The music is a little more difficult than what we've done in past years, and they have not turned away. They've just dug in and worked hard and done a very good job with it. I'm very proud of them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And let's talk a little bit about this marching show. It's what the fans get to see on Friday nights. Or I know you guys have competed the last couple of weekends at contests. Most recently, you guys able to advance to the area competition. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit. But talking about this show specifically, kind of where did the inspiration come to put this show on the field? I know it's a lot of music people recognize and some different things. So kind of what was the inspiration behind that?
Well, over the last 2 years, we've kind of tried to change styles a little bit and get into some stuff that's that you are going to recognize, that you can kind of hum the tunes to and do that. We've enjoyed the Simon and Garfunkel Bridge Over Troubled Water. It's been neat teaching our kids. When I first talked to the kids about it, I said, well, your parents will recognize this. And like, no, it's your grandparents that will recognize this. It started to make me feel kind of old. And then the Moana we knew would be a hit with the younger kids. And it's allowed us to add some different things. We haven't done a lot of solos in the past, and we get to feature a clarinet solo and then a flute trio, and they're both doing a great job with that and just getting to have a lot of fun with that show.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So we mentioned a minute ago, but congratulations, first of all.
Thank you.
You had a successful performance at the regional competition this last Saturday in Lubbock.
Yes, sir.
You guys were able to get straight ones, advance to the area competition. And I know we've talked a lot with different folks, whether it be coaches or teachers or UIL. Obviously, a little bit of a different look this year as Abernathy's made the drop from Class 3A to 2A. But as far as band is concerned, competition doesn't change much. If anything, it may get a little bit tougher. So what do you expect going into the area competition here in a couple of weeks?
They did do a great job last Saturday, made straight ones. I was looking back, that's the 18th consecutive year for us to do that. So that's a pretty neat deal. We are headed to area. It is a 2-year window. I mean, not a 2-year, a 2-week window. That's the first time for us to do that. So we won't compete till November 2nd in Abilene. And I hope to have that performance time later this afternoon. 3A to 2A, I told the kids kind of like out of the frying pan into the fire. The 2A is very stiff competition at the area level out here. In fact, in a lot of cases, it's kind of like a small state marching contest in West Texas before you can advance to San Antonio. Going into it, we want to make the finals and have a shot at state, but we got to make the finals first. So obviously our first goal is to be in the top 10 at area. and then get to perform a second time that night. We finished 7th at area in 3A last year, so we hope we have a good shot to make the finals and give it a run again.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And one question we like to ask everybody we visit with, obviously Abernathy is a special place. Abernathy ISD is a special place. It's a tight-knit community. Obviously you've been here 32 years, and so you know that. In your mind, what makes Abernathy a special place to live and ultimately work?
It's the people. It's the people you get to work with, the support you get, and the opportunity to touch children's lives.
Yeah.
That makes it a special place.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Knight, thank you so much for taking some time with us today.
Appreciate it. Thank y'all. Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Well, here we are, another episode of Outside the Box, and today we're... Sorry about that. I think we restarted the interview after it finished, so wasn't paying attention there, Chance. But an excellent chat with Mr. Knight, our band director at Abernathy. Just does an incredible job. The performance this year, as he kind of talked about, Uncharted Waters, Chance, featuring the recognizable theme song from Moana. They're playing music that people recognize, and it's just a really, really fun show.
Yeah, it definitely makes waves for sure, Ty. I know my 4-year-old loves it when we go to the games and they play it, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I know this song." And so they kind of talked about that, like how it's all shifted and how things have gone back, and he wanted to play some popular music and doing some of those kind of things. But they're definitely excited about it. A tradition of excellence, you could see by all the trophies and everything. With all the years of them advancing to the area around 18 straight years, and they're. And I'll tell you this, if you go to a Friday night football game and there's no band, you'll definitely be able to tell.
Oh, absolutely.
And when you
talk to New Home.
Yeah, they didn't have a band, which I don't know if they just didn't bring one, but they didn't have one at our game. But it's one of those things that they can bring the energy, and our band definitely does that, not only at halftime, but they bring it in the stands too. And so credit to the band and everything they do, because they're a big deal there on Friday nights for sure. And, he kind of mentioned to us that, it's going to be a tough slate at area. They're excited and they want to advance the state, but they're going up the likes of Sundown, who I think has never missed a state opportunity. He said Health Center's band's pretty good, and Lockney has a resurging band, and then Panhandle, which is also further up north, but they're in our region. So with 23 bands going, they want to advance to the finals, which take 10 bands to the finals, and then top 4 go to state. And I think this year's band, I think they got a shot, Ty, and so hopefully they can make it to state, and that's November 12th there in San Antonio. So good luck to Mr. Knight and to the rest of the band for sure.
Yeah. And one thing I always love about Mr. Knight is he does a great job at his craft. He's an excellent band director.
Oh, yeah.
But he realizes it takes a village, and he's got a great team around him. In Miss Burrell, obviously his wife, Miss Knight, Anna Jo Knight, and Toby Riley as well, helping out the band this year. And they all just do an incredible job, and he is always so quick to give those people credit, because they do so much of the work as well. And so just super excited to see how the band does coming up at their competition on November 2nd. And I think we mentioned it, Chance, but been to area now 18 consecutive years. Talk about a tradition of excellence.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that is. And when you play these other small schools, Chance, and this is the last thing I'll say, our band always dwarfs schools that are our size. And I think that's just a testament to the program that Mr. Knight has created over 32 years.
For sure. And just being here 32 years and what he's built. And like you said, it's not just him, Miss Burrell, Miss Knight. I know our elementary kids, they love going to see Miss Knight. And, speaking for my junior high daughter, she loves the junior high band, and they're great. Their concerts are great. I mean, they're up there with some of the high school bands in the area. And so they just build it up, and you got to start them young, and he understands that. And, they have a good program that they go through, and then just exciting for him and for that group. And best of luck to them coming up in a couple weeks.
Yep, absolutely. And just one quick note, Chance, obviously, our big interview a few weeks back with none other than Bryson Daly, the starting quarterback for the Army Black Knights. I just want to keep you kind of in the loop on how he's doing. Continues to roll. All the accolades are rolling in. Weekly awards every single week. Leads the nation in rushing touchdowns. He's on the Heisman top 10 list. All of these things. Army still undefeated and pushing forward, trying to make a push for the college football playoff. And just a good chance to remind you, Chance, as well as he's doing, he continues to push on. If you want to go back and listen to the interview we had with him 3 weeks or so ago, or any of our shows, any of our interviews, you can go back on our YouTube page and find the archives of those. I promise you, Chance, our interview with Bryson was better than that of Dan Patrick. Just saying.
Just throwing it out there.
Just saying. And who got it first?
Yeah, we were first to the party. We kind of knew about him and saw what he could do, and kind of knew not so much about the football player that he is, because he's phenomenal at that, but just the quality young man that he is. And I think that that speaks a testament. We were talking about it earlier today, and I said, being humble and working hard, God will bless you in a lot of ways in your life, and I think that's what you're seeing from him. He's gotten some conference accolades and some Player of the Weeks, but he's really getting some national recognition over the past few weeks. With AP Player of the Week and the interview with Dan Patrick. So, congrats to him. Shout out to Bryson. Keep going out there and doing your thing, and keep being humble about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll take us to our final break of the program. We'll come back and quickly. Promise we're getting close. Stick with us. We will kind of look ahead to Floydada Friday night and wrap things up here on Outside the Box.
First State Bank of Abernathy has been leading the Abernathy area banking industry since 1909 and is a staple in the community. We offer a full scale of banking services at First State Bank and are proud to be locally owned and operated. At First State Bank, we value the relationship with our customers and want to see them be successful in everything they do. If you have any questions, you can drop by and see us at 402 9th Street or give us a ring at 298-2556. Everyone at First State Bank is cheering on the Antelopes and Lady Lopes this season.
At Abernathy's First Baptist Church, our mission is to love God, love people, and tell the world. Our pastor is Damon Pierce, and we want you to know that you're always welcome at Abernathy's First Baptist Church. We meet for Sunday school on Sunday mornings at 9:30, followed by our worship service at 10:45. We offer kids and youth activities every Wednesday night beginning at 6 p.m. Come as you are and join us this Sunday. We'd love to see you. We are praying the Antelopes and Lady Lopes have a successful and safe school year. And welcome back. Final segment of this week's show of Outside the Box. Thanks for sticking with us on this Wednesday night. Chance, Friday night, 7 o'clock. We'll have the pregame for you at 6:45. District play rolls on for the Abernathy Antelopes, and it's the Floydada Whirlwinds that come calling. And Chance, it's hard to believe. I didn't believe when you found this stat. I didn't believe you, and then I called my dad, and he goes, "Yeah, that sounds about right." And I went,
"There you go."
Well, heck, but we have played Floydada in our history more than anybody else, and it's the 60th all-time meeting between the Antelopes and the Whirlwinds.
Yeah, 60th all-time on Friday. So not a lot of momentum. I mean, it's one of those things where we didn't feel like a rivalry. But when you look at it by the numbers, that they definitely, you consider it our biggest rival. Hell Center's next, and then Lockney. But, the biggest thing is they have the edge on us, Ty, which is surprising to me.
I was surprised by that.
They've won 30 games. We've won 29. So
not in my lifetime, they don't.
There you go. There you go. They've won 30. We've won 29. We're looking to get back to tie that here on Friday night. And I think the Lopes will do it. Most of the Whirlwinds wins against us, we're kind of from 1957 to 1981. So a few years back, but there was a 25-year stretch there, Ty, where Abernathy only won 4 games against Floydada. But the tide has turned, Ty. From 1940 all the way to now, there was that stretch where Floydada was winning. Now the Lopes have been winning. The last 12 meetings, Lopes have come out on top every single year. That goes back to 2006. And our last victory against them was when they were in our district in 2017, and we dominated 55-21. And I kind of feel that that's what's going to happen on Friday, Ty.
Well, and I tell you what, most of those last 12 wins, I've called most of those games, and frankly, Chance, that they haven't been close. Abernathy has been dominant of late in the series, even though Floydada, the 30-29 overall edge with the history of the two teams. Floydada, and again, no disrespect to the Whirlwinds, but they're a team that's really struggling. Mm-hmm. They started 2-1 against some lesser competition. It's really gone downhill from there. 2-5 on the season, and they're 0-2 in district play. And really, Chance, in district play the last 2 weeks, they've been outscored 102-14. And so it hasn't been close. They've gotten blown out. They got early wins against Tulia and Smyre, but that is distant memory. The Whirlwinds averaging just over 200 yards of total offense per ball game. They're getting outscored 35-19. They're passing it for less than 100 yards. Again, not to beat a dead horse, but it's a team that you should, at least on paper, be dominant against.
Yeah, be very dominant, and I think it's going to start up front. Just size-wise, I think we're going to kind of dwarf them up front on both sides of the ball, and so that doesn't really have a recipe for success for the Whirlwinds, and it has a recipe for success for the Lopes. And so, that with them only passing for 80 yards per game, if they look to come out and try to run against us, I don't see it being very successful. That's why you play the games, though, Ty. There's been bigger surprises.
Like
but
Coach Wiley said a few weeks back, every game you've got to be ready to play. And if the Antelopes go in with the attitude of
we're going to
dominate, then you could have a battle on your hands, and that's the last thing you want.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want for sure, especially for a team that's hungry and really needs a win. So you have to come in and play your game. You can't play down to your level of competition, and that's not a knock at Floydada. That's just, we have high expectations.
That's
for
when
this
upsets
team.
happen.
Yeah, and we kind of understand like what our team has and how they competed so far this year. And so on paper, we want to play Antelope football and not play down to Floydada Whirlwind football. So some guys to watch, Ty. Their quarterback, Ty Henderson. There you go. He's the leading rusher and passer for the Whirlwinds. He's accounted for over half of their offense, essentially. Their running back, Brendan Carmona, has about 40 yards per game. So not a lot of just things that jump off on paper for them and for their offense or their defense, to say the least. When you're giving up 35 points per game, I'm suspecting the Lopes will at least score 35 for them on Friday.
Well, and when you talk about keys to this game on Friday night, Chance, you talk about yourself.
Yeah.
You really don't talk about Floydada. Again, no disrespect for them to them, but you don't beat yourself. You don't commit dumb penalties. You don't turn the ball over. Don't play sloppy. Don't play chippy. For the most part, we did a good job with that, I feel like, against New Deal. There was a small stretch there in the second half where it got a little chippy. But for the most part, I thought you did a good job avoiding that. And we say it every week, but just at this point in the season, you want to stay healthy.
You want to stay healthy, especially getting some guys back this week, hopefully, and trying to get that late push into district, into the playoffs. You really want to get into those last few games really healthy, so you can really see what our core of our team is going to be and what the mold of our team is going to be going into the playoffs. Because at this point, that's really like, it's not about if you're going to be in the playoffs, but it's about where our seeding is going to be in the playoffs at this point, Ty. So I kind of got a prediction, Ty. I want to get another shutout. I think that if we dominate early, and I think we will, they're not going to be able to, like I said, match our size. I see us running and passing well, both of them, and then I think we're going to get a shutout. I think we're going to put up 40 on them and get 40-0 Friday night in Antelope Stadium.
Chance, I don't think it'll be close. I think Abernathy at home wins this one pretty easy. I could see the Antelopes giving up a garbage touchdown or two late in the ball game.
No, Ty, don't say that.
But regardless, I've got Abernathy winning this one 52-13. I think they're going to jump out to a big lead early, much like they did against the Lions, and just kind of coast to a big win. So hopefully we're right, Chance. But again, that's why they play the game. And Floydada's thinking we got to get the ship turned or the tide turned, and so they'll come in ready to play. I'm fairly certain of that. So, Chance, we're about done on this episode of Outside the Box. Next week's show, we're going to kind of talk a little bit of Lady Lope basketball, we hope. Going to try and line up a couple of interviews possibly regarding Lady Lope basketball. And we want to do something really cool here in a few weeks for the seniors.
Yeah, we kind of something we talked about back and forth, and we're trying to figure out what it's going to look like. But give us some shout-outs. We want to kind of recognize the seniors. Senior week's coming up for kind of the fall sports, whether it's cross-country, football, senior cheerleader, senior volleyball player, whatever that may look like. We want to highlight. So parents reach out to us. We kind of have some ideas that we want to throw out there, whether it's a short, 15-second video kind of thanking your senior and, watching them throughout the years. But reach out to us. We have some ideas, and we really want to recognize those seniors in the fall sports.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll also recap the Floydada ball game
and hopefully another big win for the Antelopes. And we will look ahead to what may be a key game and a tricky game when you go on the road to Olton.
Yeah,
So.
for sure. And just to clarify for the senior thing, we know that's not till post. That's our last home game, but we want to kind of get things prepared for that here in a couple weeks. But I agree with you, Ty. Got to get through this week. This is kind of that weird part of your schedule, where you have those 2 games, Floydada and Olton, teams that you expect to beat, but you can't take weeks off. And I think Wiley and staff, just talking to him, like we said earlier, he's going to have those boys ready, and I think those boys are going to come out hungry and just continue. Getting that shutout's a big deal. If you can have 2 of those back-to-back, I think that'll go well, especially going and traveling to Olton in 2 weeks.
As Chance, as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning us in. Good night.
God bless.
And go
Lopes.
Lopes.